All right. Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all of social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of the podcast, Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks. It's Bill Kimler. You can find him across all of social media at Political Bill SC. If you want to participate in the show, you can chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Please follow and subscribe wherever you are hearing us. Let's get started. Bill, how are you? You survived the snow blizzard of 2026 ice.
No, you're
storm.
Speaking to the ghost of Bill, actually. This is not really me. My corporeal form was covered in ice as a branch fell on me while I was outside. So, yeah, it was terrible. I'll tell you what, I have about 13 generators. If anybody wants to buy some, now we literally bought a new generator because we didn't have one.
Really?
And we actually got one delivered to our house Saturday morning, just before the storm hit. Filled it with gas, filled it with oil, did all the safety checks, started it up. It ran fine, turned it off, and waited for the worst that never happened. So now I have a generator full of gas that'll never get used, at least not this year, because we're not going to get another one of these storms with power outages.
No.
So now I have to figure out how to empty the tank, because you can't leave gas sitting in your generator, apparently. You've got to decommission it and do it properly. And
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, and what you have to do to yours, I have to do the same to mine, because I also prepped my generator. Now, my generator is not huge. It's not one of these industrial size ones that you attach to your house and can run the house with the power that comes out of it. I can operate both of my refrigerators and freezers or whatever.
I'm about to attach mine to a go-kart and take it for a spin. That's what I want to do.
You know what? I wonder if it would be better just to run the thing out. Like just go ahead.
That's what they say you got to do. You got to let it run.
Let it run.
The fucker's loud too. Boy, they don't make quiet generators.
Yeah, they do. Honda has a really nice, really quiet generator. Like my brother does a pipe. He's in one of the pipe bands, the marching Scottish pipe bands for Highland Games and things like that. And some of the band members have these really quiet Honda generators that make virtually no noise. I mean, I say virtually no noise. Big virtually is taking a lot of the weight on that. But relative to what mine has.
All right, I'm tuning out. I did not come onto this show for generator talk, buddy. We've already crossed well past the point of interest on that topic.
Let me give
I have to call it out.
Let me give Honda generators a little plug, Bell.
Put it in the comments there if you agree with me that I cut that just in time, if not late.
Yeah, fair enough.
Barrett, to be honest, I'm in a pissy mood. It has been a rough weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to share something with you. I have not had any alcohol this year. I've decided to cut back. New Year's resolution, and again, I didn't drink a lot because I only have one kidney to begin with.
Sure.
But I would have a glass of wine here, a Mike's Hard Lemonade there, and I decided I'm going to cut it out entirely. Buddy, I'm cracking this out today.
Oh yeah.
This is today.
I don't blame you. If you already checked out the episode of the All About Nothing podcast, Zach and I did, we recorded yesterday on the heels of what is the second now murder of an American citizen by the federal government, and a street level execution.
Alex Pretti, for you, buddy.
Yeah. I real quick, I want to make a couple corrections on the episode. I called him Pretti throughout most of the episode. It is Peretti is the name, Pretti. I also claimed that similar to some of the reporting early Sunday that Alex Pretti was shot 10 times, but it sounds like it may have only been 9 times. Also, I announced that some of the shots may have actually come from his pistol that was taken off of him. That also may not be the case, as it was reported as such on Sunday.
Let's talk about that one. I'll let you get it. You have more corrections? I'm sorry. I want to talk about that shooting himself part.
I'm not going to retract the statement about ICE baiting parents with children. I know that one's happening.
There's nothing to retract there.
So there was a comment made.
The whole actions obviously piss you off. Everything about it pisses you off. But I think what's most disappointing to me is that you had an execution captured on 10 video cameras from 100 angles, clear as day, and still the asshole parade or the asshole brigade stands up and bends over backwards to make excuses for that execution. How many times have you had to see, well, he shouldn't have been there?
Oh,
right?
multiple. I mean, it's countless.
Right? Let's just make this clear. That was his goddamn city.
It was
right?
his neighborhood.
The ICE executioner, the Homeland Security personnel, they're the ones that should not have been there. If they had been home with a real job, then Alex Pretti would still be alive today, right? That's the truth of the statement. Now, about that gun, that was the worst of it. I mean, that came from an article, and I forget the source of that article, but it was one of those that was really trying to bend backwards to say that the model of gun, the make that he had, was known for firing accidentally, and so they were hypothesizing that the first shot was him shooting himself, and then the other shots followed as the officers panicked when they heard gunfire. So again, this is a pattern that you see in domestic abuse, where look what you made me do, right? As a man is pounding upon the poor woman, look what you burnt the pot roast. Look what you made me do. If you hadn't had gone to dinner with that gang, then I wouldn't be this mad. Look what you made me do. It is that same mentality that is sick, disgusting, and has no place here in the year 2026. But unfortunately, we have not evolved as much as I had hoped we would have by this point.
Yeah, and the amount of bootlicking that I have seen is just unbelievable when it comes to, and it was today. I think I saw on Alex, what's the fucking senator? He looks like a badger from Texas. Left the state.
Corwin?
No, the other one. Cruz, Ted Cruz.
Oh, Cruz.
First of all, I didn't know Ted Cruz had a podcast. I feel like a lesser human being now, being at the same level as Ted Cruz.
I almost don't care what Ted Cruz had to say, because there is no senator with a more disgusting statement than our own Lindsey Graham had. What Lindsey Graham had to say was the worst of them all, the absolute worst. And he is a man whose heart and soul is as dark as can be.
What is his what would his reaction be when this happens here in South Carolina, when the city of Columbia winds up having a protest and ICE steps through, because there is a bill on the floor, or there is a bill to be introduced in the House that potentially could pass the Senate, that will no longer give local law enforcement the option.
It'll be mandated
working with ICE. Yeah, it'll be mandated that they have to work with ICE, that detainments will be held. Detainees will be held in local law enforcement jails, that the local law enforcement will participate in the apprehension and detainment of suspected illegal immigrants or anyone that stands in the way of this Gestapo. So when
Barrett Gruber is the very next victim of the first to go in South Carolina, because you attend these protests all the time. If you are the first to go, how do I get the credentials so I can carry on the All About Nothing pod kind of daily show?
I'll set up a kill switch that'll send it to you.
A bill switch. That's what you need, a bill switch.
We'll call it a bill switch.
Just switch it all over to me, and I'll bring somebody else on, and we'll carry it on in your honor, of course. Your honor.
Yeah. It'll be the Barrett Gruber All About Nothing podcast, hosted by Bill Kimler and Zach King. I get it.
It'll be the All Not About Barrett podcast.
I now I feel like I need to make the show a little bit more about me before we get to that in memoriam. It's disgusting to me that we still have people that are justifying this. What
is wrong with you all?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you all?
How?
He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been armed. He shouldn't have. No, he shouldn't have been shot to death. If you don't have that as your number one point, then you're missing a point entirely.
Yeah, they said witnesses and video footage indicate that Pretti was observing a federal immigration enforcement action. He was reportedly filming agents and directing traffic away from the scene. When agents pushed a woman to the ground, Pretti moved to assist her. He was then pepper sprayed, tackled
His
by a group of
back.
agents. Yeah,
his back, Barrett. I don't know if you watched that video.
I've watched nine or 10 videos from different angles that some of them are better at showing exactly what happened than others, but there's no question at all as to what it is that actually happened. And anyone that sees those videos and thinks that the agents were in any way, shape, or form in danger for their lives, this man was on the ground. He was pinned by at least 3 agents, and they shot. The one agent pulled out a gun, shot him in the back. He fell to the ground, and then subsequent shots occurred afterwards. As they backed away from him, they were still shooting at a lifeless body. He was not moving.
His back was turned to them. He was bent over a woman who had just been pepper sprayed in the face. No, she hadn't been pepper sprayed. She was shoved.
Yeah, shoved.
Because this woman was just off the sidewalk, standing in front of a parked car. She wasn't in the middle of the road or anything. And the officer just came, pushed her from the front, sent her sprawling backwards. Pretti turns to her, his back facing the ICE officers. He bends down to pick her up and check to see if she's okay. And that's when he got gang tackled.
Yeah.
So the most disgusting thing, it's really tough to say most disgusting because they're all the most disgusting. But when the Department of Homeland Security puts out a statement minutes later saying that he approached them brandishing a weapon and they fired in self-defense, a completely invented narrative that is completely contradicted by what everybody can see on the video, and they're not held to account for that. Try lying that way at work once, Barrett. Lie that way once where it's that obvious, where everybody knows it's not the truth, and you come out with a public lie and see how long you're employed. The fact that these people are still allowed to run this department is a stain on this country.
I am also appalled at the fact that there are so many people that are preaching this narrative that he never should have showed up at a peaceful protest with a firearm. It is well within our rights as citizens of the United States, according to the Second Amendment, and all these gun-toting Second Amendmenters. You can, if you feel like you need one on you, fine, wear it, take it with you. But in no way, shape, or form did he have that gun in his hand approaching these they're not officers, approaching these federal employees. He did not have a gun in his hand. He had his camera in his hand, in one hand, and with the other hand, he was motioning traffic to pass through. That was what he was doing. And at no point during the tackle that took him to the ground did he still have that gun. They pulled the gun out of the holster that he had on the small of his back, and then shot rang out into his back, and then subsequent shots rang out at him on the ground. And how can people that are Second Amendment, supporters or whatever their belief is, how can they claim that he can't go to he wasn't on state?
You say it all the time, Barrett. Something happened in this universe.
Yeah.
That caused a split in the timeline. And nothing is more evident than you and I sitting here today, and our greatest ally in this story is the goddamn NRA.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I are sitting here with the NRA by our side, talking the story through, and they have come out in strong defense of Alex Pretti's right to carry an arms peacefully, which, by the way, you and I have never been opposed to. No. But it's really fucking weird how everybody just decided to stick their head up their ass and go, well, he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. What the fuck?
Yeah. Watching Kash Patel on Fox News or whatever with his eyes doing this.
Yeah.
Trying to say, well, if you're going to go to a peaceful protest, you can't carry a firearm. You cannot have a firearm arm you. Why? First of all, it wasn't on federal grounds. It wasn't on state grounds. This was in a neighborhood on a street. So yes, I understand. Go to the state capitol. Do not take a firearm. You cannot have a firearm on the state house grounds. Totally in favor of that. I think that's unnecessary. There are plenty of state troopers or state police officers.
Yeah, funny they make that for themselves, but not for the general public. But that's a different conversation.
That's like we can't carry a firearm
to add
near
insult
the governor's house. you know?
Yeah, to add insult to injury, I have now been forced to look at that stupid, twisted little fuck Kyle Rittenhouse's face all over my
Yeah.
timeline
Yeah.
as people keep bringing his picture up to point out the hypocrisy of those defending ICE agents
Yeah.
and their tactics.
Just to remind anyone who doesn't remember, Kyle Rittenhouse showed up across state lines into what was it, Missouri, Kansas, somewhere?
Milwaukee.
He showed up in Milwaukee with a rifle at a protest, claimed that he felt like his life was in danger, and he was there to protect small business owners, some gas station or something like that, and that he killed what, 2 people and injured a third. So he did exactly the same thing.
And then found innocent.
He found innocent of murder, of homicide, and I think had lunch with the president or something. At one point, I think what was one of our state senators or somebody like
Alan Wilson.
That's what it was. Alan Wilson was cheering him on, and then like at one point,
well, Barrett, I didn't want to get back into his life story. Like I said, this was the insult to the injury. It's bad enough, but now we got to bring this guy back up.
Yeah. You mean Senator Kyle Rittenhouse from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whatever. I don't know. I don't. I told Zach I genuinely have a fear. So Pam Bondi came out this morning and said that they will pull the ICE troops back if Governor Walz gives the president or gives the Department of Justice access to the voter rolls from Wisconsin. Fucktards. You have access to it. You just have to buy it like the rest of us. Like, I don't understand. What
would have been worse, that voter roll request, or what if she said, if you donate $20 million to the Trump ballroom, then we'll pull the ICE agents out? Would you have been any more surprised? Or any more outraged? Or it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly. It is a ransom.
It's like we're going to take a completely unrelated thing and try to squeeze it out of you in return for removing unwanted, unasked for, untrained, unnecessary military troops.
Yeah,
parading in the streets, cosplaying in the streets.
Yeah, they are literally holding Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota hostage in order to get something that they want. And again, they can order it. They can get it on a DVD or sent to them with direct access to the voter rolls of both Democrats and Republicans. It's the same thing candidates do all over the country when they're trying to get in touch with their potential voters. It's the exact same thing. I don't understand. So Pam Bondi issues that statement. Trump has a phone call with Walz, Trump made it sound like it was very good. We were on the same page with a lot of stuff. And then what's the neo-Nazi guy that's running around in the long oil coat and whatnot apparently I saw statements come out this afternoon saying that
Greg Bovino.
He apparently is going to be pulled out of.
He's out of there.
I suspect that he is going to wind up taking the fall, and rightfully he should. He's the one that has had there's video of him literally pulling pins on flash grenades and throwing them at a crowd. I mean, he's involved on the front lines to look like tough guy. And I think Trump is doing his best to smooth things over. Like that post that he did about Governor Walz was the exact opposite of what he's been ranting about over the last 5 days. So now I think he's realizing how fucked up everything is, and maybe he's trying to backtrack a little bit. But to me, nothing is going to be enough unless every one of those damn agents are out of there. Well, and disbar the entire group. Disbar and get rid of ICE. And now they're in Maine, right? He's got them deployed in Maine. Like, what? We have this issue on the southern border, and he's in Minneapolis, he's in Chicago, he's in Maine. What the fuck? Yeah. How justify that for me? How is it that we have not in Florida places? Yeah. Not in Texas. Right. Texas and Florida and California are the 2-3 spots where most of the illicit drugs come into the country. These are the spots where you're going to get the most people crossing into the United States illegally. I mean, the Haitian population came in illegally over decades. The Cubans came here illegally. And you have an extremely large Cuban population. Some of them have been here since the 60s that have never registered with the United States. They have been living here illegal, and Trump knows this, and he doesn't send them to Florida. Why? Because of DeSantis, because of Rubio. Like, I don't get it. California has one of the highest populations of illegal immigrants in the United States. And it is.
Well, no, he did terrorize the black people in LA for a couple of months.
Yeah, he absolutely did. But like, there was a statistic that showed that in 2012, Barack Obama had 490,000 illegal immigrants deported. In 2025, Donald Trump had 230 or something, 230,000. It's the tactics. Okay. I am all for legal immigration. I am all for keeping murderers and rapists and things like that out of our country. I 100% believe it. But if they're in this country, you have to go through the process. There has to be a due process in investigating.
Yeah, but that's the way their argument works. It's like you criticize them when they decide to arrest and detain Native Americans, and then their response is, well, you must be for illegal rapists running around our country.
Right. It's insane.
Why are you leaping all the way there?
Because that's the only argument they have. Because when they're faced with reality, they go to the extreme, and they make the assumption that you're okay with illegal. I'm okay with immigrants being here in the United States, illegal or not. If we had better immigration policies, if we had a system that was set up better to take in immigrants from other countries, then I think they would just try and find an excuse as to why that's too far. We have to be more secluded about who,
Yeah, just like the shootings. I mean, you got two videos of Renee Good and Alex Pretti, and she shouldn't have driven her car. He shouldn't have been carrying a weapon. What's going to be the third victim's excuse, right? Or how are they going to blame the third victim? Oh, he shouldn't have given them the dirty look, right?
Yeah.
What are they going to say?
It's coming. There are going to be more there are going to be more executions of people in the United States.
And brutality is not going to squash this.
No.
We are now in the 250th year of the American Revolution.
Yeah.
Where the same goddamn thing was happening. An oppressive government that was using a military force to oppress the nation, and the people rose up. You think that's not going to happen again in this country? The people will rise up. Keep pushing and find out.
I am still afraid that let's say ICE doesn't get their funding, and there is a downsizing of what is the Department of Homeland Security's Border Patrol and ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. How many of these people are actually going to back down at this point, that aren't going to feel emboldened from their work over the last 8 months and feel like, well, I know I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm still going to get these illegals out of this country. I'm still going to detain them.
The worst is let's say that it is all disbanded. You got all these yahoos who are now armed. You think they're going to turn in their weapons? You think there's going to be an orderly check-in process?
Nope.
You now have heavily armed thugs running around.
They've unleashed what is a Gestapo type, and ultimately taking them off of the payroll is just going to embolden them more. Like, they'll also have their issues with the federal government too.
Now, what should happen is that all of these detention centers should be emptied out, and everybody who signed up for ICE should be put right in.
Yeah.
Like, there should be a swap.
Yeah.
Just corral them all and let them stew in there for a year.
You want prisons to actually have
give them the same treatment that those detainees are getting today.
It's infuriating, and it pisses me off listening to some of the people that are defending this, or that think that this is the right path that the United States should be on. Or I mean, I listen to podcasts where I listen to there are people that go on and they defend every single bit of this. They defend Donald Trump. They defend Pam Bondi. They defend, and ultimately their defenses is always, well, this is, if it weren't for Joe Biden letting all these illegal immigrants in, I'm so sick of hearing that, because it wasn't open borders. We didn't have. The reality is there were not open borders during Joe, because ultimately, like in places like Texas, the state of Texas put up, I don't know if people forget this, but they put up barbed wire. We had a woman and a child die trying to cross the Rio Grande because they got cut up by razor wire that had been placed in the Rio Grande purposely to stop people from coming across. It didn't stop them. They still tried, because there's, I'm at a loss. Why
They have lost, they've lost their humanity. They see people from other countries as lesser than human and not deserving to live.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry you died on barbed wire. Maybe you shouldn't have tried coming in our country. And again, let's go and blame the victim for the death.
Exactly. So my guess is that Minneapolis is, even if they pull Bonzino out, is still going to continue to be a hotbed of activity until they actually pull all the ice out.
Pull out who?
All of the ice.
No, what's his name? Did you say
Bonsai? No,
Bonzino. Bevino,
whatever.
I was like, what the hell is he pulling out bonsais? Like, what
he doesn't deserve any of my respect. I don't care.
True.
But I'm concerned that the next state is potentially going to be Maine. Like, we're going to.
All I can say is that with Minnesota, this is the worst episode of Fargo I have ever seen. This is a terrible, terrible season. I usually love that show, but this one is awful. There's just nothing to enjoy about this season.
I keep going back to the season that Billy Bob Thornton was in, and just how great a character he was in that season of Fargo.
Was it a season, or was that the movie itself? I'm trying to remember. I think maybe it was a season.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like season 2 or something like that. But he was so good.
I like the season that Chris Rock was in.
Oh,
he played a lead gangster. Love that. But that season, that series is just fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I think there's another season coming. I think. Maybe
I hope so.
Yeah. So I guess the only, like, I don't want to tell people. Ultimately, I think a lot of this has to do with putting more fear into people so they don't go out and protest. And it feels like because like here in Columbia, I think there were 300 or 400 people that showed up at the ICE protest on Sunday, even though it was frozen mist, like the trees were starting to droop from the ice. But there were still 200 or 300 people that showed up to protest ICE. Now, I said it on the podcast. The city of Columbia currently does not have an agreement with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which means that there isn't really an ICE presence there. On the outskirts of Richland County, maybe a little bit. You get up towards Irmo, but Lexington County is really the one where we're seeing Sheriff Kuhn working or having ICE working with his deputies, and detainees are being held in Lexington County's jail. And then ultimately, I can't even find the statistic, because I called Lexington County Sheriff's Department and asked how many people are currently being detained by Lexington County in association with ICE immigration. And there was no one that could provide that number. And I'm thinking it's because it's zero. I think that they're doing the same thing here in Lexington County that they are doing across the country, where they will detain people without cause, find out that they are citizens, and then releasing them, telling them to stay out of trouble. I think I'm making a lot of assumptions on that, but I absolutely believe that the same thing is going on here. That is going, the number, if they have really deported 230,000 people last year, show us what crimes these people committed in the United States other than
No, that's
just
the crime
being
right
here.
there.
Just being in the
that is the crime. That's the only crime. They exist. That's the crime.
This country was founded on immigrants. I mean, the United States was built on the idea that we would take in.
This country was built by immigrants.
Exactly. You know, it was stolen from the Native Americans, but it was.
It's just a bunch of people blaming others for their own failures. It's like, I can't be responsible for my miserable ass life, so I'm going to blame the brown people. I'm going to blame the black people from a country in Africa. I'm going to blame everybody else, and let's go attack them. Has anybody's lives been improved by all this ICE action over the course of the year? Has anybody gotten wealthier? Has anybody gotten healthier?
Yeah. Private prison system. The private prison system is taking in more money from the federal government because they have more inmates detained. I told a friend today that because she said, you know, where do you think you got your ideology? And I said, I think my parents
got it
a little. Well,
it's not like you went out shopping for it.
Yeah. Well,
you know, or
why do I have this ideology? And I said, ultimately, I think it's because I have empathy where for some of these people don't have any empathy or sympathy or anything. And I said, ultimately, I live my life trying to not impact anyone negatively. If I have an impact on them, I hope that it's beneficial to them, but I don't want to have any negative impact on anybody. I don't go out of my way to try and cause harm to someone. And it feels like this administration, that everything they do is intended on having the most gruesome impact as possible. Same here in the state of South Carolina. Alan Wilson, who just got endorsements over the weekend from people that I respect. And I'm like, fuck you. Why Alan Wilson? This is a man who has literally only been elected.
Who else? What other Republican can they endorse?
Oh, I don't know.
Who would they have endorsed that you wouldn't have felt sick to your stomach over?
Well, Lindsey Graham got an endorsement from some local politicians that I won't even name.
No, I'm talking about the people you respected. The fact that they endorsed Alan Wilson. Who else would they have endorsed for government that's a Republican, because they can't endorse a Democrat?
Right.
Who else would they have endorsed that you would have been not sick to your stomach about? They're all equally heinous.
There aren't any. Yeah. There is not a single current state or local politician for the Republican Party currently running for the nomination that any endorsements for those individuals don't turn my stomach, because you look at the reality of what it is that's going on, and the corruption that has been going on for more than a decade now, and how do you give them some of these people have been elected to their office by Democrats and Republicans, and ultimately theirs is a nonpartisan position. And it really upset me to see the endorsement for Alan Wilson on that one. And I'm just like, why? You got Dr. Jermaine. You ran nonpartisan. You could have endorsed.
Guess who I got a phone call today from?
Oh, who?
Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, yeah?
He directly called me just to thank me for the efforts. I was like, how about that?
That's awesome.
He says, keep my eye out for opportunities in my area, but he just wanted to reach out and say thanks. I was like, oh, damn.
I think I told you this before, and we'll wrap it up on this, but I did tell him that when he gets elected, that I want to be his press secretary. He said there's somebody in the position right now, but if they don't want it, that he would let me know.
But if he and the 10 backups he's already identified all die and perish, he might consider you.
I have it in a text. He texted me and said I would be considered. I would love that job. I would fucking love that job. To be able to go in front of the press here in South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, you can be press secretary. I'll be his minister of propaganda. That'll be my job.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Big thanks for everybody watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget you can follow Bill at Political Bill SC and myself at Barrett Gruber across all social media. Thanks for liking and hitting that bell. And if you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.